Hello everyone and welcome to the video. Today I'm going to be going over on how to paint yourself a really cool Losi NASCAR body. Now, I've been painting a lot of bodies this year for folks. I've done actually 96 as the time of posting this video. So I've done a few. And a lot of these schemes are so easy to do, and a lot of people are really afraid to paint their own bodies at home because they say they have no artistic talent or they'll never be able to finish it. But I want to show you how easy it is to put together a Losi NASCAR body that's going to really stand out on the track. So we're going to be making basically this exact body today, although I'm going to be using the Proline Lumina body. So we'll have the Mello Yello scheme as like a throwback, and we'll have it on the modern NASCAR. Now, when you buy a lot of these sticker kits off eBay and other places, they're going to be sized for the new style of NASCARs. However, the Lumina body, based on the dimensions, is very close. So the roof sticker might not be quite the exact perfect size. It might be a little bit big since his roof is a little bit smaller, but I think the sticker kit's going to work very well. If you're going to be painting the Proline Monte Carlo body, these sticker kits are not going to work, none of them, because the roof on them is very, very small. So the roof sticker would definitely overhang into the windows. The trunks on the Monte Carlos are huge. But we're going to go over today on how to paint this. We're going to be using a sticker kit from a guy off eBay called Coop Gear. I'll post up his eBay page now. So these sticker kits are, I believe, 18 bucks. So less than 20 bucks and get yourself a really cool sticker kit. And you need some paint for this. I'm going to be using some leftover paints that I have. I'll be using a Spastics Gloss Black spray that we're going to put on first. And then I'm going to airbrush in the bottom of the body using this Proline 6325-16 Lime Green. Now, if you're going to be spray painting this, which is probably more likely, you can use the Tamiya PS5 Black, and I believe it's PS8 is their light green color. Those would also work perfectly good. We have our sticker kit, we have our paint, and we just need some masking tape. So this is frog tape, this is the green stuff, this is 1 inch wide. And that's it. That's all the bits we need. And we also obviously have our factory sticker kit that comes with the body for the window stickers and whatnot. Basically, to do this, step one, which I've already done, is you want to wash the body. So go into your kitchen sink, use Dawn dish soap or whatever you have and the kitchen sponge, and really wash it out, because there's going to be oils left over on the inside of the body from the molding process of actually forming the Lexan. So step one is to wash it. I'm not going to show you that on the video here. It's very easy to do. Just pretend it's, you know, a plate or a bowl or a mug, and wash it just as such. Once we have that, inside of here is our window masks. So we're going to open this up. It's this white sheet here. So these are going to get stuck on the inside of the body on the windows. Since this body is black, if you wanted black windows for whatever reason, you actually could skip this step and just paint the windows black along with the rest of the black portion of the body. I prefer windows clear, so I'm going to go ahead and use these, but that's totally up to you. So step one is let's get these babies on. All right, window masks are on. I did notice this is the first body, actually, all the ones I've done, where I think Proline, their vinyl cutter isn't set up quite perfectly. So the cut depth on the window mask was a little bit low, so I used an X-Acto knife to pull some of the window masks off. But usually you can just peel these off with your fingers. But that's pretty much it. That's your window masks. On to the next step. I'm going to be copying exactly what I did for this body. So this green portion on the bottom is pretty much the full 1 inch width of the masking tape. So we're going to go forth and do that. We're going to try to do the 1 inch masking tape all the way around. We're going to go up to the seam here on the bumper. And we're going to do about an inch, we got out of focus here, an inch on the doors. For the back portion, we're kind of just going to go to like the bumper line and kind of bring this down because obviously the back bumper is cut a lot higher than the front of the body, so that'll kind of carry the straight line all the way through. So let's go forth and do that. I'm just going to wrap the end of the tape around the body. The sides are perfectly flat. The front's obviously got a curvature to it, so I'm going to try to do it in one shot, but we might need to break it down into more than one tape piece. Let's see what we can do here. Sorry, a nut just fell into the back of my truck. So that has definitely come out pretty straight all the way, kind of following the body line around. This is also an inch. I don't know if you can see it on the video, but because the tape is only so flexible, we have some of these little gaps here at the end of the body here. I'm just going to take a couple pieces and just kind of wrap over the edge of this to make sure no paint bleeds behind it while I'm spraying. All right, that's pretty perfect. Like I mentioned, the bottom was coming up, no big deal. We covered over it. What's really important is that the tape line that's going to be actually your painted mask line on the top here, you really don't want any wrinkles or anything for paint to get behind. So you want to make sure that's as smooth as possible. Surprisingly, I was able to get this done with one single piece, but you could always break this down into smaller sections. Last bit now is the rear of the body. All right, we're going to do the back piece and with more than one piece of tape here. All right, so the back of the body took a couple pieces because of the contour of the bumper and the fact that the tape itself is not very elastic. But we have just a little bit, probably an 1/8 of an inch of bumper overhang here. And the goal was to try to make it so as the tape comes down, it lines up to the side of the body. So it looks like one continuous line. So both sides are pretty even. And that's it for masking. That's all the masking you have to do for the whole body. A lot of vintage NASCARs in particular are all pretty simple paint schemes, so you can definitely knock out a whole bunch of these. I know like the Dale Earnhardt schemes, for instance, are pretty much the same way. Your top half will be black. It depends on which version you do, or you could do the silver select, you could do like the silver and the red, or the black and the silver, and there's just, you know, like a red pinstripe that goes down. So those are very, very, very doable at home. But that's it for masking. Next step is I'm going to make sure that all the masks are pressed down really well so that we don't get any paint bleeds, and then we will be on to spraying. All right, we should be good. Let's do some black. All right, painting. The important part for painting is that you do light coats. Everybody likes to hose the paint down, especially when you haven't had, get out of here, ladybug. especially when you haven't had any experience before. It doesn't matter if you build up a million layers. If you do them all nice and light, you'll avoid paint bleeds. If you're going to hose the paint down, it's going to want to seep behind the mask, behind the masking tape. Light coats. So let's go forth and let's get our first coat down. Let's make sure there's no fuzz. All right, let's coat one. Obviously, you can still see through it. We're going to let this sit and flash. It's a nice sunny day, so I'm gonna let it sit outside, and then we'll go for coat number 2. All right, on to coat number 2. All right, starting to get a little more opaque now. You can still see through it in some sections. The darker colors tend to cover much more nicely, so it'll take a lot less coats of, let's say, a black than if you're painting this, yellow or something. But again, let this dry for about 5 minutes or so, and then keep going until we can't see through it. Almost done with this. I'm going to let it dry for another 5 minutes and just check to make sure that there's no spots that have too little paint on it. And then we're going to move on to the green part. And on to our final coat. All right, that should just about do it. If you hold the body up to the sun, you can see through it on the spots that might be a little light. But like I mentioned earlier, do as many coats as you need to get this to be completely opaque and build it up slowly. This way you won't get paint bleeds on your mask line. So let's let this hang out for a little while, and then we're going to pull the tape off and do the green portion. All right, we've let the paint dry now for probably about a half hour or so. The longer you let it sit, the better it's going to be. A lot of times when I do these, I'll paint a color like this and then just let it sit overnight and do the next color the next day. If it's too wet when you go to pull the masking tape off, sometimes it'll want to pull the paint. So just make sure that it's definitely dry to the touch at least before you go ahead and brew the mask. But that's the next step, is to undo the masking that we put on here. So we're just going to pull off the tape. All right, so tape's off. Next thing I usually do is inspect for any paint bleeds. This came out almost perfect. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but there is a little tiny bit of paint bleed right back here. A little bit. So the trick to cleaning up your lines is a hobby knife. Typically I use one that's not very sharp, something that's been used for a while and a little dull. And then we're just gonna go back and we're just going to scratch lightly at the bled paint, and it'll come right off. All right, that's it. It's actually that easy to clean up your paint lines. If you had a bigger bleed, it's obviously going to take a little bit more time to scratch it all off, or if the paint is really cured. So if you go to paint it and you forget about it for a couple of weeks and the paint is really bound to the plastic, it'll be harder to pull it off. But that's it. We're ready to go for the green color next. So let's shoot this. All right, green time. So just like the black paint, I'm gonna let this sit for 5 minutes or so, let it tack, and then go on to a second coat. All right, that's pretty good. I'm gonna let this flash for 5 more minutes and just use up what's left in my airbrush cup. But that's just about enough there for the green. All right, our paint is now completely dry, and now we can pull the protective film off the outside. So if you got any overspray on it, there's this film on it that comes off and takes any of the overspray with it. That looks pretty awesome. Gotta pull the window mask off the inside. And that brings us to stickering. So we have obviously the original window sticker kit that comes with the car with the headlights and all that fun stuff. And we have our decal kit from eBay. And the only thing I'm going to do to deviate from this slightly is on my vinyl cutter or a Cricut machine, I printed out red stripes. These are a little bit thicker than the ones that are included on the actual sheet. If you have a Cricut cutter, you can always make stuff like this for your bodies. If you wanted to do this paint scheme, but you didn't want to buy the sticker kit, say you wanted to do your own numbers or whatever else and just use the base scheme as inspiration, you could always get some red pinstriping to go around the body and then finish off with whatever decals you want. You don't necessarily have to do mellow yellow per se, or if you wanted to change, you know, the colors in the body. But I'm going to use these on here and then use the rest of the sticker sheet. These are not die cut, so we're going to have to use a pair of scissors and cut them out. So I think this takes more patience than actually painting the body itself. But that's going to be it. I'm going to put the stripes on first because a lot of times, I don't think so much on this game, but a lot of times when you're putting the stripes and things on, you'll find that they'll go behind like headlight decals and whatnot. Like on this one didn't per se, but if the stripes in the front here were a little bit higher, so they went like to the actual headlights themselves, I would normally tuck the red stripe behind the headlights first and then put the headlight decal on top of it. You could do it the opposite way, put that decal on first and then put the stripes in and then just kind of trim them with an X-Acto knife to get them flush to the headlight, but that's entirely up to what you're comfortable with. But yeah, that's it. So let's get this decal kit on. to our window stickers. Yep, that's the back one. Now, the one thing I always struggle with these bodies is I find you always have to make a relief cut going down the window here because I didn't put one in for the decal. So this part of the window, or if you're doing a regular NASCAR, it's super easy. But these guys, I always end up cutting the sticker with an X-Acto knife. I have to go back and adjust this slightly because I have a hair of a gap up here. But this is usually what you're left with, because if not, you have to try to fold this sticker over this ridge here for the arrow. So that's the only thing that's annoying with the Monte Carlo and the Lumina body. I haven't done the Ford yet, but just keep that in mind, that that's usually a pain in the butt. I think that's like the worst part about doing these retro bodies. If you fold the sticker over and pinch it, you'll get a line right down the center, which you can much more easily line up with the center line of something like a grill. For now, that's pretty much all we're going to use for the regular sticker sheet. I will fill in like the gas cap and the Goodyear logos later. So now we're going to move over to the sticker kit. Now, if you don't know where all these stickers go, and a lot of them are labeled, it'll tell you, you know, roof number, door, quarter panel. But if you're not sure the layout of, let's say, the sponsor logos and stuff, you can always Google an image of the car. I usually like to do this sitting at my computer desk, and I'll have the picture of the actual race car up on the screen, and then I can just copy it verbatim. So let's cut all this out and let's get it installed on the car.
My heart rages around like an ocean in my head, because there are so many things that I left unsaid. rages around like an ocean in my head. I can almost feel you walking in the distance, but I know that it's not reality. If you are echoing around inside these parallel dimensions all alone, know I'll find you in my dreams. I can almost feel you.
And here we have our completed product. So the wing bolt's on with 3 2mm bolts, or 2mm head bolts. To put the spoiler on, there's 3 on the bottom, and she looks great. I also went ahead and took an X-Acto knife and trimmed around the holes on the stickers so that the body post can come through. The quarter panel stickers don't want to lay down too good because the vinyl's a little stiff. But if I take a little heat gun, put some heat to it, it'll pull these down. So I'm gonna do that before photos. But she looks good. The sticker kit definitely sized up well for the aluminum body, so it fits great on both the modern NASCAR and the vintage one. And these look really cool. It took probably about an hour to sticker the body, maybe a little less. Most of that time is spent cutting out decals, because there is a lot of them. There's a lot of sponsors, contingency sponsors, and it looks fantastic. This is definitely worth, especially when it's a nice day out, to spend an afternoon and make yourself a custom body, whichever way you may choose. The seller also has a bunch of other decal kits you can pick from, which is really cool. And there's plenty of NASCAR styles out there that are definitely easy enough for anyone to paint at home. You don't have to pick the craziest scheme to have something that's going to be super sharp and awesome, and look super sick on your Losi NASCAR. It's awesome. I love this thing. That's it for me today on this video. Whether you're doing a modern NASCAR or a vintage one, you can do some really cool schemes with a lot of the decal kits out there. There's also the option for wrap kits, which will give you the entire body's worth, which are really nice too. They're a lot harder to put together though, unfortunately. I find doing sticker kits that are smaller decals that you can just put them individually on and paint your base scheme tends to come out a little better. But there's plenty of options out there now for Losi NASCAR paint schemes. But I hope that inspired you guys to give it a shot and maybe try painting up your own NASCAR. And I appreciate you watching the video. Don't forget to click that subscribe button. That would be super helpful. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks.